students, again come to history class. That is now next notable thinker of the Europe, Karl Marx, 1818 to 1883. See, he's a, you can say, a good thinker who gave the theory of class struggle. In the later half of the 19th century, a new school of thought arose, keeping in a view the new thesis formulated by Karl Marx. New thesis, new events. You can say what was happened in the past and what is happening today. According to Karl Marx, history was not about the abstract idea. What is the meaning of abstract idea? Whatever happened in the past, it is not necessary to include that, but we have to study the present situation of the society. Not, it is not abstract ideas, means not, you can say, don't include the events what happened in the past. It was about living people, means what is happening today, what kind of the problems they are facing, what kind of the class we are having in the society, how they are completing their fundamental needs. Human relationships are shaped by fundamental needs of the people and the ownership as well as nature of the prevalent means of production to the meet those needs. See, as earlier I said, human relationships are shaped by fundamental needs, means what kind of the needs are required, what kind of the needs are required, and how we are fulfilling, and who are the owner, those who fulfill this requirement. So they will be called as a productive human. So here you can see that. Now next, the accessibility of these means to different strata of the society may not be equal. See, here you can say those who are having a more land, they are powerful. Those who are not having a land, they are poor. So strata, division, or you can say the society is divided. Each and every person in the society may not be equal. You cannot say that all the persons are using all the things in the society. Their fundamental means, some are using rich life, some are using very poor life, some are using very middle life. So this inequality causes, what this inequality causes? To division of the society into classes, leading to class struggle. See, according to the Karl Marx, he divided the class into two parts, haves and haves not. Two classes, haves and haves not. What is the meaning of haves? Rich people, those who are the owner, you can say the businessmen. Haves not are a poor. So this struggle between these two people, or the gap between these two people, always led a society into a struggle. Today also you can see our laborers are mostly, the laborers are suffering most because of this business class. They are not taking care of this, and this gap between this labor and the business class is not equal, and these shaped, or you can say that culminates into a class struggle. Today's situation can make you understand the situation which he wants to tell. Today also, because of corona, we are in that same situation, class struggle. Laborers are suffering more for their fundamental needs, and others are enjoying their rich life. So in the crisis also, this is very, very good aspect to study the human life. So he stated that theory. According to the Marx, human history is the history of class struggle. History of class struggle, as earlier I said, that here business person are more powerful and poor people are powerless. So the land is not equal distributed, or you can say whatever property is owned by any nation is not distributed equally. So this is the things. Das Kapital, a treatise written by him, is the most read book all over the world. So this is the book written by the Karl Marx, and he reflected the life of the class struggle. That is the haves and haves not, my dear children. So next, see here, Annals School. Annals School. At the onset of the 20th century, a new school of historiography arose in France, which is known as Annals School. For what purpose, my children? एक नई विचारधारा का स्कूल चालू हुआ. Annals School gave a new direction to history writing. It was recognized now that history is not only about political events, kings, great leaders, and accordingly to politics, diplomacy, and wars, but also about the climate. See here, what they started to study, history should not consider the political deeds of hero and heroines, of two kings or any, but we should study the climate, great leaders, and accordingly diplomacy and the relationship. Diplomacy means, you can see, the relationship among the nations, one nation to another, another nations to another, like that, and local and wars, and also about the climate, land, what kind of the people they were, local people, their society, agriculture, what kind of the food crops they were growing, trade, technology, means of communication, what kind of the means of communication they were using, social division, caste division, or you can say the 4 divisions, whatever we read in the history, and their collective psychology, and that psychology means their thinking, etc. in the historical times. The Annal School was started by French historian. Next is coming here. See children, one part is very important from this lesson, that is a feminist historiography, that is reflecting the life of the women in the society, how it was previously. They were neglected throughout the society, they were not given the importance. And see children, any society cannot progress with the help of women. So real progress of any society or of any country lies in the hands, or lies in the progress of women. So here we can say in India, how we when it came into light, Mahatma Phule, when he raised the voice against the woman condition. Then Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he raised the voice against the Sati Pratha. You can say Savitri Bai Phule, who raised the voice against the women education. So the real progress of the society lies in the hands of the women. So here some reflection or some problems associated with the women are also reflected, and these also has given an important place in a history. Feminist historiography means the restructuring of the human history from the perspective of women. Women का व्यू भी देखना चाहिए, what problems they are facing. The writings of Simone de Beauvoir help in establishing the fundamentals of feminism. So under her leadership, we started to write the historiography of the feminine. She was French. The feminist historiography emphasized not only on the inclusion of women in the history, but also on rethinking of the male-dominated perspective history. See, today also, if you see in our society, male-dominated, male-oriented society. So she reflected that how male are more powerful than the women. Women should also given a power to progress. They are also having a right. It drove historical research to focus on depth on various aspects of women's life, such as their employment, their role in trade union, institution working for their cause, their family life, etc. In the historical writing after 1990, women were portrayed as an independent social class. So after when they raised the voice against the women's atrocities, whatever problems they were facing, they should also be given a equal weightage in the society. Then this you can say the scenario of the women started to change. Next is Michel Foucault. Last one is Michel Foucault, the French historian of the 20th century. Michel Foucault brought forth a new concept of historiography. What he said in his book Archaeology of Knowledge, remember, argued that the prevailing practice of arranging historical events in a chronological order is not right. Means he was against the chronological order, one after another, whatever we were compiling. He drew attention to the fact that archaeology does not strive, you can say archaeology, past coins, how their life was there. This is also, that does not describe, reach the ultimate historical truth, but attempts to explain various transition in the past. Various transition means what kind of the changes were taken place is not correctly shown by the chronological order. So they should know. The Foucault felt that explaining the transition in history is more important. Transition means changes. So what kind of the changes took place in those time or in the human history is very very important rather than the chronology. He called his method the archaeology of knowledge. That's why he called his method, which he applied to study the changes in human history or human nature, is archaeology of knowledge. Foucault subjected the so far unacknowledged areas by historians such as psychology. Psychology disorder means their thinking. You can say their mind orders. Science of medicine. What kind of the science of medicine was there? What kind of the prison administration was there? Prison administration, etc. to the historical analysis. So that's all, children. So we will continue. Thus the scope of historiography kept continuously expanding. Writing of histories of various subjects like literature, architecture, sculpture, drawing and painting, music, dance, drama, film and television, etc. came into practice. These things we are going to learn in the foremost lessons. Till that, that's all.